Hey everybody, Greg here, and I am at the north end of the IMU, Iowa Memorial Union, on the University of Iowa campus. And this video is going to show you a suggested bike route that you can take from the IMU heading south to get you to another junction, which is the corner of Riverside Drive and Burlington Street at the bridge there. So anyway, now you could obviously jump out into the street here or take the sidewalk, but you're going to find most of the year, particularly when classes are in session, there will be quite a few people out on, both in the streets driving and people walking on the sidewalk. And I'm just going to show you a quick little shortcut here. So we're actually going to take this path that's on the north side of the IMU. You'll find there's a ramp that goes down here. It's right near the Iowa Advanced Technology Laboratories building here that you can see, this monolith here on the right. So just north of the IMU. And this is an important little spot to know about anyway. You want to navigate away from the stairs, unless you've got a bike that can handle that, and just to head down the ramp here. And as you can see, there are some options. So I can either take this ramp up and go across the bridge heading west. There's a walking bridge, footbridge. I could turn right and head north along the river. That's a nice path. But in this video, we're going to turn left. We're going to go south and just head along the river. It's a nice wide sidewalk, so plenty of room for other cyclists or pedestrians. Get a nice view of the IMU. And by the way, if you've not been inside the IMU, you really need to check that out. You don't have to be part of the university necessarily to go in and enjoy the nice restaurants. There's a terrace grill. Inside, in the lower level, there is a Java House coffee shop, some of the best coffee in Iowa City. There's the Hawk Shop, which is the University of Iowa's bookstore, and bookstore does not really do it justice. They have clothing, computers, Windows and Mac computers, and a bunch of other stuff in there, office supplies. So a lot to see and discover inside there. A wonderful food court as well. So basically I've gone south along this west side, what you might think of as the back of the IMU. And just for point of reference, I'll show you there's this chapel here. It's called Danforth Chapel. Zoom out a little bit. And we're here. Here's the park. Nice view of the old Capitol. Some of the Pentecrest buildings are obscured by the trees because we're here in the middle of summer. And there's some construction going on here at the south end of the IMU, which makes access a little bit difficult from there. So that's another reason to take this alternative route to head south. So anyway, I'm going to keep going along this trail. You could either go behind the chapel along the river, or there's this other path here. Now as we head south, there is a railroad that crosses the river. There's a railroad bridge you can see, and a tunnel that goes under that railroad. Visibility is kind of minimal, and it's a narrow passageway, so you want to make sure you maybe ring your bicycle bell just to let people know you're coming through, so pedestrians aren't startled or you don't have a collision with another cyclist. So now we're still along the river. Here ahead of us is the English Philosophy Building, known as EPB. And if we look east, there's that railroad track that kind of curves around and then heads over across the river. And at this spot, you know, normally you don't have a crosswalk unless you go to a light. So there'd be a crosswalk down there. But here, because this is such a commonly used area, you'll find there's a crosswalk. Cars generally stop for pedestrians because that's state law. They don't always stop for bicyclists because, you know, it's not really clear whether or not that law applies to bicyclists. But we're going to go ahead and take this sidewalk here and head west across the river, across this bridge. Now, we could turn left and we could go along this sidewalk, but that just heads into a parking lot that is behind EPB. So basically we're looking for scenic, safe, and interesting bike paths, and this one I think is the best option to get to where we're going. And to give you some perspective from here, we're crossing the river. If we look north, you see the IMU is a little bit obscured from the trees, but you can see in the distance one of the new student dorms. There's the river. And if we look south, the structure you see along the river there on the left is the old power building. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see the hydraulics lab is there on the right. So that's where we're heading. We're going to go south and go down to that bridge area. So this gets us away from some of the, you know, noisy cars, buses, street congestion, pedestrians, a lot going on over there on campus. And we can just kind of turn left here. This area is a little bit in a state of disrepair. You'll see the sidewalk's kind of falling apart, and there's just dirt here, and you want to be careful not to, you know, pinch your tire in the rim getting up on this curb here. There's a bit of a drop off, but anyway, now we're heading along this trail here, sidewalk. So here we are on the Burlington Street Bridge. There's that old power plant and the hydraulics lab. If we go ahead and turn the camera north, you'll see the Iowa River, and the bridge in the distance is the one that we had just crossed a few minutes ago there. So I'm going to turn the bike heading west and show you what your options are from here. If you want, you can of course head east, which is the direction I had been facing there, or head west, which is the direction we're looking in, or south. You can push the walk button on the pole there and make your way across this crosswalk to head south along the river, and there's a video showing that, and the north route, which you just saw in reverse. But what I'm going to do is go up this spiraling walkway, this footbridge, and head across going west in the next video. But anyway, that's it for this segment. Thanks for watching. If you have any suggestions, special requests, comments, always appreciate those. Have a great day.